Welcome back to Kleppers Corner. Today in history, the only show where we take one random day off the calendar and realize it's basically been the stage for a historical sequel series nobody asked for. September 28th is like that friend who somehow always gets dragged into drama. Every group chat, every bar fight, every bad karaoke night, they're right in the middle. And this date has seen everything: backstabbing Romans, invading Normans, desperate redcoats, moldy petri dishes, and yes, even Elon Musk managing not to blow something up for once. It's the Swiss Army knife of historical dates. Let's dive in before September 29th gets jealous. Segment 1, Pompey's awkward Egyptian vacation, 48 BC. So, September 28th, 48 BC, Roman general Pompey the Great lands in Egypt, looking for a safe place to crash after losing to Julius Caesar. Pompey, by the way, is the guy who defeated pirates, conquered half the known world, and thought he could just Airbnb his way out of civil war. Spoiler alert, wrong. Egyptian advisors basically told him, hey buddy, welcome to Egypt, we'll get you a nice place to stay permanently, and stabbed him to death before he could even unpack. That's how the Roman Republic started circling the drain. Imagine it like Survivor Ancient Rome. You've got Caesar, Pompey, Crassus, the original triumvirate. Crassus already got himself killed in a botched desert vacation in Parthia. Pompey just got whacked on the Egyptian beach, and now it's down to Caesar, who's basically the Jeff Probst of history, standing smugly with immunity idols made out of dictatorship. And let's be honest, Pompey's death was the equivalent of your buddy promising to pick you up after bar and instead leaving you on red. Except here, on red comes with knives. Segment 2. William the Bastard becomes William the Conqueror, 1066. Fast forward 1,000 years. September 28th, 1066, William, the Duke of Normandy, lands in England. Known as William the Bastard, which sounds like either a Game of Thrones character or the world's worst craft beer. He shows up with a bunch of ships, horses, and enough French arrogance to make Gordon Ramsay look humble. Now, King Harold of England had just fought off Vikings 3 days earlier. The man barely had time to throw his victory party leftovers in the fridge before William crashes through the back door yelling, "Surprise! New challenger." So Harold marches his army across the entire country like they're in the world's worst CrossFit challenge, only to meet William at Hastings 2 weeks later and promptly lose both the battle and his eyeball. The Norman conquest that began on September 28th changed everything. The ruling class, the language, the architecture. We went from Beowulf to oui baguette. It's why English today is this bizarre smoothie of German, French, and random nonsense. William's landing basically kickstarted a millennium of English identity crisis. So thanks, Will, you bastard, literally. Segment 3, Yorktown, the Redcoat eviction notice, 1781. Now we hit September 28th, 1781. George Washington and his French buddies finally corner British General Cornwallis at Yorktown. Washington basically goes, okay, Tom, grab your musket. Pierre, grab the wine. Let's siege this sucker. Cornwallis is trapped. The French Navy blocks the Chesapeake, and the Redcoats are sitting there like, any chance Uber boat is still running? Nope. The siege lasts 3 weeks. By the end, Cornwallis waves the white flag, the band plays The World Turned Upside Down, and America officially puts Land of the Free on its mixtape. Yorktown was the finale, the series ending of Season 1, Revolution. And like most finales, the British kept trying to reboot the franchise for years afterward. But September 28th, that's the day America started drafting its declaration of, fine, we're free, suck it, King George. Segment 4, Cabrillo finds California, 1542. Jumping continents. September 28, 1542, Juan Rodriguez Cabrillo becomes the first European to set foot in California. He sails into what's now San Diego Bay and is like, nice place, shame if Spain colonized it. To the indigenous people, this was basically the start of Stranger Danger, the colonizer edition. Cabrillo wasn't there to enjoy the beaches. He was searching for a mythical shortcut to Asia. Instead, he found tacos, avocados, and future real estate listings that make your wallet cry. This landing kicked off centuries of mission building, Spanish claims, and eventually Hollywood making superhero movies that last longer than the actual Spanish Empire. Segment 5, Penicillin accidentally saves humanity, 1928. September 28, 1928. Alexander Fleming discovers penicillin because he forgot to clean up his lab. Honestly, this is the greatest argument against doing your chores. One moldy petri dish later, boom, modern medicine. Penicillin turned infections from death sentences into take two and call me in the morning. Before antibiotics, a paper cut could kill you. After, humanity basically unlocked the cheat code for survival. Fleming saved more lives than every Marvel superhero combined, and he didn't even need a cape, just laziness and a decent microscope. Though let's be real, given today's anti-vax and anti-science crowd, Fleming would probably post his discovery and get a million Facebook comments like, "Actually, mold is a hoax created by Big Pharma." Segment 6. SpaceX finally doesn't blow up. September 28th, 2008. Elon Musk's SpaceX finally gets its Falcon 1 rocket into orbit on its 4th try. The first 3 blew up like birthday candles at a 5-year-old's party. But this one, success. It was the first privately funded liquid-fueled rocket to make orbit. Translation, space travel went from government exclusives to, hey, billionaires can do this too, which is how we got Starlink satellites cluttering the sky and the promise of Mars colonies that sound suspiciously like Burning Man with less water. Elon called it a small step for a rocket, a giant leap for my ego. Okay, maybe he didn't say that, but you know he thought it. Segment 7, Constitution versus Oslo II, 1787 and 1995. September 28th is also Government Paperwork Day. In 1787, Congress officially sent the brand new U.S. Constitution to the states for ratification. It was like dropping a hot mixtape on SoundCloud. Check it out, 7 articles guaranteed to slap. The Federalists loved it. Anti-Federalists screamed, "Big government," and America invented its favorite pastime, yelling about politics. Jump to 1995, same date. Israel and the PLO signed the Oslo II Accord, trying to bring peace to the Middle East. It was basically the political equivalent of duct taping a cracked windshield and saying, "This should hold." Spoiler, it didn't. One document built a stable government that lasted centuries. The other created areas A, B, and C, which sounds less like peace and more like a bad seating chart at a wedding. Segment 8. Confucius, Paley, Cray, Sullivan, Miles, and Perez. Births and deaths. September 28th also has birthdays and deaths that shaped how we think, watch, and listen. Confucius, born 551 BC, gave us wisdom like respect your parents, don't be a jerk, and ritual matters. Basically, the original self-help guru. In 1901, William Paley was born, the guy who built CBS into a media empire. Same day, Ed Sullivan was born, the stiffest man alive, yet the one who introduced Elvis and the Beatles to America. Together, they invented television as culture's main babysitter. Then there's Seymour Cray, born 1925, who gave us supercomputers. Without him, half of modern science and every single Marvel CGI explosion wouldn't exist. And deaths? Pope John Paul I in 1978 lasted just 33 days, which is less time than most Netflix shows get before cancellation. Miles Davis in 1991, jazz legend, cool incarnate, invented so many genres he probably forgot half of them. And Shimon Peres in 2016, Israeli leader, peacemaker, Nobel Prize winner, the human embodiment of fine, I'll negotiate again. Conclusion. So September 28th isn't just a date. It's the world's busiest group chat, featuring Romans with knives, Normans with boats, Americans with muskets, Spaniards with maps, scientists with mold, billionaires with rockets, and jazz legends with trumpets. It's conquest, discovery, constitution writing, and one pope who died faster than your phone battery on iOS update day. September 28th proves that history doesn't repeat. It just books the same date every year for increasingly weird reunions.